Welcome back to The Boys in the Iceberg, the podcast, where we watch The Legend of Korra. As always, I'm Caleb Ader.
And I'm Harley Davis.
And chugging right along through season 3?
Yes.
Okay. We're in season 3.
It's actually book 3.
Book 3 balance.
Or something. Is it change or balance?
Yeah, it's change.
I don't know.
Episodes
Do we
3
care
and
anymore?
4. I don't. I'm sure that the listeners of this podcast love to...
All 3 of them.
Yeah, love to hear about how we hate this.
You guys absolutely think that we're kidding when we say we have 3 listeners, but I am not joking when I say we have 3 listeners. No! We got another listener the other day. My sister tuned in.
Nice.
Yeah.
What did she think?
It's awful.
Is that what she said?
No, actually, she said that it's so good and it makes her want to watch Avatar. So she went into this podcast not ever seeing Avatar.
Just clarification. Did she actually say that?
Yes.
Did she start listening to the first episode?
Yep.
How did that make anyone want to watch Avatar?
Yeah.
That was awful.
No clue. But I do remember her saying when I used to watch this show way back when, she did get an answer on a test right because of me, because I had this show on, and she did not know the 4 core elements, but she was in like a...
what class was she taking?
A chemistry
the
test or
4 core
something.
elements?
And they're like, what are the elements? And they're like, oh, she's like, oh, this is the elements for college or some nonsense.
This is a bit right now, right?
And she goes, it's earth, wind, and fire, but also that other one that not just makes the song group. Then she got an A+ on her test.
Her mnemonic device was the song group, and then she's like, but what is that last one?
But there's one more.
Think. Oh yeah, I saw my brother watch this stupid show.
That's actually her mnemonic device is the band, and then what is his name? Billy from OxyClean comes in. But wait, there's one more.
Okay, he's dead.
Rest in peace.
Okay, so we watched Avatar. We did watch Avatar, but that's beside the point because we are now watching Korra, and we are down 2 seasons in, and we are starting the 3rd season. So we watched the next 2 episodes of that this week.
Point being, we're so close to the end, ladies and gentlemen. Just hold on a little bit longer, and we will pedal out one more, maybe equally annoying podcast for you guys in a more diverse atmosphere to listen to.
Oh, and also, we're in space. I don't even know if the listener could hear that. It was very quiet.
It was very, very
What
quiet.
I said was, we're in space.
Thank you
But
very much.
we're not actually. That's just a little bit of a trick that I picked up. We are firmly planted on the ground. Actually, we're about a story in the air. If any of you care about like the logistics and all that of the podcast.
Any of you trained military snipers out there want to know our exact coordinates?
Why would we give that away to a sniper?
Get at us at Boys in the Iceberg.
I'm not giving away my information to a sniper because I know what they do. They snipe things.
I've seen that Clint Eastwood film.
I've seen Mark Wahlberg. So did he do that film?
Which one was better, Shooter or American Sniper? Shooter.
I never
right?
watched American Sniper, but I love Shooter.
Shooter's so good.
I really like it.
As a film, I would say it's a better film because it's fun.
You think so?
And there's Michael Peña's in it.
I believe that Rotten Tomatoes would disagree with you.
But
probably.
American Sniper, okay, this unpopular opinion, American Sniper, I loved it. In the theaters, people were crying at the end of it. It was dead silence at the end. I went there watched it by myself at the theaters in Terre Haute, and nobody said a word when the credits rolled. They just sat there. Nobody got up or anything.
Really?
And I kid you not, there were grown men crying behind me, and then we all left in silence. Nobody said anything to each other. No words were spoken. It was the most surreal theatrical experience of my life. When I had to go watch Shooter in the theater, people were laughing. People were cussing Michael Wahlberg. Well, I love Shooter, though.
So I wish that you would have put just a little bit of pause, because I was going to say, when I went and watched Shooter in theaters, there were also grown men crying, but that was just Mark Wahlberg. He was sitting behind me.
But my unpopular opinion for the movie of American Sniper was that I loved it, but
Bradley Cooper
was poorly edited.
Too fat. That's what I was saying.
He was huge in that movie.
Yeah, he was.
The movie was poorly edited, though. I will say that there were bad cuts.
He lost so much weight for Guardians of the Galaxy. I think he
played Drax, didn't he?
He was down to like 30 pounds or something like that. Anyway, that's not what this podcast is about. This podcast is all about the legend of Korra. And our first episode today was the Earth Queen. So any hints to you faithful listeners out there? We're in Ba Sing Se.
Well, the characters are in bossing. We're still in space.
Yeah.
Dang it!
Hold on. Space. Would you want to try that again? Okay, take it from the top. 3, 2, 1.
We might be. God bless.
It's okay.
Space.
Hold on. You got to wait for my cue. 3, 2, 1.
We are actually not in Ba Sing Se. We are in space.
Great. That was great. Okay. Harley, why don't you read us an overview for the Earth Queen?
So our lovely Team Avatar arrives in Ba Sing Se. It says that right on. It says
Does it?
Yeah. Okay. While
Read it
Korra has
word
an
for word,
audience
please.
with the Earth Queen, the others notice that Kai has gone missing. Shucks. Prompting Mako and Bolin to go look for him. They track him down, but he manages to shake him in the monorail, which takes the brothers to the lower ring, where they eventually run into their family from their father's side. Meanwhile, Korra and Asami set course for a small village to collect its taxes as a favor to the queen. After bringing her the money, the queen brushes off Korra's request for helping in tracking down the airbenders, leaving the Avatar to storm out the palace. In the city, Kai is arrested by the
This
Dai
is so
Li
long, Harley.
and conscripted into the queen's first airbending regiment. Why did we need all of that? It's over now.
Is it just the transcript of the episode?
It was.
Okay, so this episode's the Earth Queen. At the beginning of it, they are on their way to Ba Sing Se. And it's taken them a couple episodes now to get to Ba Sing Se.
Well, they made some stops on the way there, but it is taking them a stupid long time. Also, we are seeing the villain side of the story too, which I really like.
Oh. Are we really? Or are we seeing it through the prism of other people? I guess we're seeing it through Zahir.
We are seeing it like it's Zahir's story, really, and I like that a lot. I guess they do that really well in this show.
Do.
They're really good at showing us the different stories between the villains and the heroes. So we get like the sub story, which is the villain story, and then the actual story, which is the hero story, and then eventually they collide, and then they'll bounce back and they'll collide again.
So
and it's an overarching thing, and I like that a lot.
But when we see, is that in this? That's not in this episode, is it? When Zahir breaks out the firebender girl.
That's
the
second
next
episode.
Yeah. So we won't get there entirely, but are we seeing that from Zahir's perspective or from Tonrock's perspective?
I think it's from Zahir's perspective, because from the very beginning of the introduction of Zahir, Tonrock wasn't there. Zahir was there.
Well, yeah, but we get more on the back or on the beginning with Tonrock, Zuko, Eska, and Desna.
I think those are just little characters that they throw in there to actually get that cool battle scene that we have. I don't think we're getting it from their perspective at all. I think we're still getting it from Zahir's perspective, which is a reason I think Zahir is a character people can not necessarily relate to, but sympathize with. And I really like... They do that really well with villains. I don't think Unalaq was a sympathetic villain.
Oh, no,
but
no.
Amon almost was. And I think Zahir definitely is.
Unalaq and Bone Rock, or whatever the first guy's name was, the Earthbender guy from the first season.
I have no idea.
The names all blur together at this point. They're all very similar.
The names?
Right? Yeah.
Tonrock and Unalaq are pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Ooh, Tarlock.
Tarlock. Yeah, see? Same thing.
Waterbender, not Earthbender.
What did I say?
You said Earthbender. That's
sure?
why I said Waterbender, not Earthbender.
Okay. I don't know if I did. We'll listen back later. But, yeah. So this first episode, do we get any Zahir?
Yeah. No. Yeah, we do. No,
sure?
we do not. We
No.
don't. We get Zuko and Tonrock going to meet Eska and Desna.
Is that this episode?
That is this episode, because then they're like, listen, we got to go check on this fortress, make sure she's not broken out yet. And they go,
I do see that.
And then they go sit there and they wait for Zahir to show up, and that's the second episode.
So they know he's going to be there, and they're
Yeah.
just waiting. Okay, so this episode starts off, as I said, we're going back to Ba Sing Se. I was pretty excited to actually see what Ba Sing Se had become. Turns out, basically say the same. Like, there's not too many changes.
It almost feels like, even though we spent a lot of time in Ba Sing Se for Zuko and Iroh's story, I feel like we get to see more of Ba Sing Se just in this episode when they're in it, because you get to see Mako and Bolin. And we get to see the new monorail, which is different than what the old monorail was. It's now run by electricity instead of earthbenders.
But, well, we don't even know that for sure.
We're speculating that, but there are no earthbenders on the back pushing it, which was a really cool aspect that they just got rid of for some reason. I don't know.
It almost seems like Ba Sing Se, because of the walls and everything, it has kind of stayed out of like the modernity of everything. It hasn't modernized yet.
I
Is
can
that-
I can see that. It's all shut up to itself.
And I was just thinking about this.
They're just populating and they're not doing themselves any favors.
Yeah, I mean, because there's basically no one except for the queen living in the very center, right? It's like the palace, barren land, and then the wall.
Yeah, and she doesn't have any a family though. We haven't seen any of her family at all. So yeah, it's just like if there was a queen's family, that would make sense. But it's just the queen and her servants. So I guess you're right.
Yeah, and there's no
Fishy.
It felt weird in the palace because there were literally 3 characters in there.
There wasn't even the Dai Li. It wasn't even in there.
No,
But we have, which maybe the Dai Li's doing something behind this.
I don't know, maybe.
But like with the Earth King, there were parties going on,
Yeah.
and there were people around the palace all the time. So maybe we're seeing, and obviously she's a bit of a dick. We can tell that by
Yes.
seeing her. She's really rude to Korra, and you made up a very good point when we were introduced to her. She gives Korra this video game mission of go collect my stuff, and I'll let you do what you need to do.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never played the Korra video game. I know they made one, but I'm
Did
sure.
they really?
Yeah, I don't remember exactly. We'll have to get it and play it. We should do a let's play of the Korra video game or like the Avatar video game. That'd be pretty cool. But yeah, so she's basically. I don't know why they chose to add it in there like this, but it feels like you're playing an RPG and you need something from somebody, but they won't give it to you until you do something for them. Which it just felt kind of off to me.
I didn't hate it, but once you pointed it out, I couldn't ignore it.
Yeah.
But then so then Korra and Asami, which I'm starting to warm up to the end of the series,
Nah,
which
I
will
still
not
don't see it.
but only because of this character of this friendship building they're having in these few episodes. Like when they were out sparring, and like she is in more scenes with Korra, but there's not a lot of repartee between the two of them.
No, they fight together, which Asami, I don't know how she does the things that she does.
She's very acrobatic.
Yeah. Did they train her for that? You can't just be trained in that, right? That's a natural talent.
Jumping high?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You could be trained in that. Have you ever played
No, I know.
2K17?
It's called a little
2K17?
What?
You ever played 2K17?
Yeah. Okay.
You can train your you can train your men to jump higher.
Oh.
It's a stupid thing.
It's also a video game.
It's a dumb thing.
Yeah, but Asami is very good now with her what's that glove? Power glove thing? What's the glove from Fallout?
Oh, the Power Fist?
Is it? Yeah, Power Fist. That's basically what it is.
She's Moy Goot. Moy as in the Spanish word for more, and Goot
As
as
in
in
the
the
German
German
word
word
for
for good.
Thank you for that. A little trip around. It's time for Harley's World Language time.
We need like an intro music to that. Like,
Yeah.
whoa!
Make one.
That's it. That's what I got.
Okay. I'll throw that in there before.
Thank you.
Or something. Okay, so the Dai Li are still in the Earth Kingdom as well.
Which is great because they're like the Earth monarch, or oh god, I forgot the
Monarch.
the male term for that.
What are you talking
The
about?
Earth leaders, like little side dudes, like they're there to protect them.
They're the cultural police force or whatever.
preservation.
Yeah, I don't even remember exactly. I feel like they should have abolished the Dai Li though, because it was very corrupt.
I think that was just because they had the Earth King was stupid, and there was no direct contact. There was the middleman between the Dai Li and the Earth King, like in that the guy who was voiced by Clancy Brown. What's his name? Jin Sung.
Oh yeah, the leader
that,
guy.
I made that up. That seems kind of racist.
No, let's not get into that.
But yeah, so that guy he was the corrupt one, and then they all just followed orders.
You
Because
think
remember when they said that when Azula came out and she's like, "Hey, listen to what I have to say,"
Uh-huh.
and then they're like, "Hey, you still have followers."
But
With the guy after he went to prison, what is his name?
I don't know. But what I also think that is like so the Gestapo, the secret police force for the Nazis.
I don't. Please tell me all about them.
Okay, so they were like basically Hitler's secret police force that would go out and make sure everybody wasn't like helping Jews or something. I don't know, but that's like the Dai Li. And you think that after Hitler was defeated, people were like, "Oh no, let's just keep the Gestapo," because they were just following orders from this corrupt leader.
Was the Gestapo there pre-Hitler?
I don't think so.
I think the Dai Li was there pre-Earth King.
Yeah, but I mean, it's basically just a police force.
I think that's what they're for. And so I think they got rid of the old dudes and they put in new dudes.
I just think maybe
They're
dress
like,
a little differently.
We like the idea of the Dai Li and how you control things, but
There's
The old dudes were a bit corrupt.
There's still the Dai Li, though. I'm just saying.
That's fine.
Germany does not have a Gestapo anymore.
But also, yes, away with my argument for a second, because they are still kind of corrupt. But that's not because of
no, because
the Earth Queen's...
That's actually at the behest of the Earth Queen.
Yeah, not because of the Earth Queen's knowledgeable absence. She is actually involved directly with this. It was in the overview. She is actually stealing the Airbenders, which is the main reason why Korra and the gang showed up to Ba Sing Se to get Airbenders. And she is stealing the Airbenders from their homes, and she is turning them into the very first Airbender army.
But we're skipping over
under her tutelage.
A massive part, because how we actually find out about this information is from Mako and Bolin, because they run after Kai, and because he's back to his old tricks. He's up to no good. He's running around airbending people, stealing their money.
That little minx.
Buying fancy hotel rooms.
Isn't that what you would do if you stole a bunch of money, though?
Probably. Well, I mean, he needed a place to stay. Yeah, it was overnight, so that makes perfect sense to me.
I really wish they would have gone with my idea, though, that I emailed to them when the show first started. Let Kai steal a bunch of jewels and stuff like that.
You did in season 1. You emailed this.
Yes, absolutely.
When the show first started.
Let Kai steal all this stuff from the Earth Kingdom, and all its civilians, and then just adorn Jinora with jewelry from Kai. And she just walks around with ridiculous amounts of jewelry, huge gold necklaces, like a gold skirt, everything gold. Like, I want her just to be adorned in gold, and their dad be like, dude, where'd you get all this gold from? She's like, I have no idea.
See, now, in season 3 of Avatar The Last Airbender, I emailed them, and I said, would you let Kai steal stuff, get so much money, and then become the Earth King? He basically buys out the queen.
I dig it.
So,
I dig it.
I think that would have been another cool development. No, he just spins it on like a...
Mine was for comedy, yours was for plot development.
No, it wasn't. I don't care. So, Mako and Bolin, they chase after Kai, because he's being held to a better standard now than he ever was before. So they're trying to whip him into place or something. Mako keeps calling him Bolin keeps calling him his little brother, which I very much disagree with, because they're not family at all.
So does that mean in Star Wars you hated the scene from Rogue One where what's his name called Jin little sister?
I don't know the scene you're referring to, but yes.
Baze Malbus calls Jin Erso little sister, and then they all go die. Spoiler alert.
Okay, let's not talk about Rogue One or anything spoilery. So Kai tricks Mako and Bolin to get on one of the trains, and then he leaves them on there with no hope of getting off, which I feel like they could have if they wanted to.
So this is my problem with that: is they were in the middle circle. Were they in the middle circle or the inner circle?
The inner circle's they were in like the upper class. So not the very middle circle, which is like the palace.
When they got into the train, that's where they were, and there were no guards to stop them.
Yes.
And then they went to
all the way to the
lower circle.
Yeah.
And then when they went to go back into the train, there was a guard to stop them. So are they keeping the lower class from going to the upper class?
I would assume so. That makes the most sense.
Or was there just a plot convenience there where they're like, hey, we should throw in a guard here so Mako and Bolin can't get back?
I think that they want to keep the lower class citizens.
Segregate them?
Yeah, basically. Which is another thing that so the lower, or what do they call the outer circle?
Yeah, I think it's basically the Attack of Titan. Outer, inner.
Yeah, and that's another thing I want to talk about, because there's multiple similarities to Attack on Titan in this episode. But one thing I did notice is even when Zuko and Iroh were in like the outer circle, this feels so much claustrophobic, or so much more claustrophobic than in Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Well, I think because they've overpopulation.
You think that's all it is?
Well, I think because, like you said earlier, how they don't interact with, like, they don't modernize their technology or anything like that, because they don't interact with anybody outside of their zone. I think people are still having sex, dude. Like, they're still making babies.
Okay, I understand that, but I feel like it's shot more claustrophobically, is what I'm saying.
Like different camera angles and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that it makes
combination of both.
All the buildings look taller, and I feel like it just makes it feel more closed off.
I can see that.
It's like an alley.
Fine. Yeah. I still like my point of view better, though.
I mean, yours makes sense story-wise, but this is like actually what I'm seeing. So Mako and Bolin are stuck living on the streets for a night.
Yeah, this is a stupid thing. You brought this up during the episode. We've brought this up many a times. If you're an earthbender, you can bend your own house.
Yeah, Toph does it on a regular basis in Avatar.
She bent her own tent multiple times. When she was first introduced to Toph, she was bending her own tent.
But Zuko and Mako are living on the streets in trash.
You keep
They're
saying
laying
Zuko.
in trash.
Now you
Zuko,
even switched out Zuko with Bolin this time.
Yes,
You said
I did.
Zuko and Mako.
Mako and Zuko are living on the streets in the trash, and they wake up in the morning, feeling like P Diddy, and they go over to find some food, and they run across this fruit stand.
This fruit stand
With rotten fruit.
Rotten fruit.
Thank you for repeating everything I'm saying.
Everything you're saying.
Thank you. But they run into this fruit stand that has terrible fruit, and they get into the fight with the stand owner. His name is Tu.
Tu. Is that the Spanish word for you? I'm pretty positive it is.
Technically, yes, but no, not in this context. I guess you could say that just about with anything. But they run into this guy, and they get into a little squabble with him because he thinks that they're there to steal his fruit.
Which they do this little bit, and Mako says, "We don't want to steal this fruit because it's nasty." And the guy says, "You going to steal my fruit?" And he goes, "No, I purposely just said that I'm not going to steal your fruit because it's nasty." And he goes, "Are you calling my fruit nasty?" He goes, "Yeah, look at it. It's disgusting." He's like, "My fruit's great. Are you saying it's not stealing worthy?" And he's like, "Wait, do you want us to steal the fruit or do you want us to call it nasty?" I'm super confused. Like, it's a funny bit. And then coming to find out that Tu is their cousin. And they meet their
No, he's their cousin.
They meet their grandma, which is what kind of Bolin foreshadowed before, because apparently Ba Sing Se is where their father's from.
Yes. So they had said, but like a couple episodes ago, that they could go see their grandmother.
If they go to Ba Sing Se,
but apparently they didn't know where their grandmother lived at all. They were just going to run into her, it happened.
It did happen.
So I think it's a little ridiculous to assume that was going to happen because there's a lot of surface area to cover, and they end up in the exact right place,
which is fine. But I don't know, man. If I lived in Ba Sing Se and I was an earthbender, I would literally climb one of the walls and like earthbend a house on like the top of like,
or just move out of the city
in the middle of the wall.
Yeah, I don't.
How cool would that be?
In the city of Earthbenders, why aren't they living inside the walls?
You'd have such a cool view of the entire city, and you'd be secluded.
Yeah,
It'd be dope.
The entire walls could. I guess that it maybe for safety reasons you wouldn't want people in the walls, but you could be definitely on the side of the walls.
Yeah, which there shows like one of the you said they make it angled, like they shoot the camera angles to where it looks like we're talking like it's actually shooting camera angles, but like the different angles.
Yes,
like everything's taller and whatnot. Everything looks more compact. They do show in one of the shots that there are buildings on the walls, but
I didn't see that.
Yeah, there's actually a really cool thing. But they're not earthbent. They're just like people build buildings on the wall. I'm like, you guys are in the Earth Kingdom to think there's earthbenders.
Yeah,
I guess I would do. I'd build like a mansion on the wall.
I don't understand how overpopulation's a thing because they could just keep expanding it.
Yeah,
because they're earthbenders.
Just tear down the wall and just move it back.
Yeah, or just like you could even just build another wall and then tear the other wall down. It wouldn't take that much effort.
Ta-da. Because even at the beginning, when we first were introduced to Ba Sing Se in Avatar: The Last Airbender, they just opened the doors with earthbending. There were two guys and they moved the doors. Like, it's super easy to do this.
Yeah,
obviously.
Yeah, it's not.
Just rebuild another wall.
I don't even see how anything's a problem in this world where magic literally exists. That's another thing with like in movies with magic, like Harry Potter. How does anything bad ever happen?
Like one of the things I've seen for the Harry Potter one is he can fix his broken glasses because he's a wizard. It's like he can also fix his eyes because he's a wizard.
You think though? How does magic work on DNA? I guess you can make people grow pigtails, so that's not really...
Where do we draw the line?
I don't know. When J.K. Rowling talking to you, subscribe to Pottermore, everybody. Little plug for J.K. Rowling. She could use
Gryffindor
it.
all the way.
Get the.
She could use. She needs the money from our 3 viewers.
Yes. So if you're out there listening, please go buy all the books, all the Harry Potter books, and then read them, and then return them.
What if our viewers had never listened to or read Harry Potter in their lives?
I don't. How do we know that they have not or have?
What if they've never read or seen the movies or even know what Harry Potter is?
I mean, what if? Are you You gonna follow that?
I don't know.
Well, I don't know.
I don't know.
Then I guess that they would not know what we're talking about right now.
They're like, hey, what?
I don't think they'd say that because they definitely. Okay, so you think that there's anybody in America who's never heard of Harry Potter?
Maybe.
You think so?
Maybe.
Maybe really young people?
I think very
But
religious people.
No, they've heard of it.
No, I'm saying
that.
like I'm adding variables to this individual. That
You don't
may
think
or may
Harry
not
Potter
exist.
is a household name
Probably.
that I think you'd be hard pressed to find someone who doesn't know, at least has never heard the name Harry Potter.
I think we should go on this trek. I think we should.
That's the next season of this podcast is us heading across America talking to people about Harry Potter.
Join us here in a few months on Potter Trek.
Potter Trek. That's not a Star Trek Harry Potter crossover. It's just Potter based. So we should probably come up with another name.
In 90s slang, how wizard would that be?
Is that something you should have said, or let's get back to the episode, ladies and gentlemen. So Zuko and Bolin meet his family, or their family, I guess I should say, 'cause it's more than one person.
If you say Zuko one more time, I swear to God.
Whenever you bring it up, I just do it on purpose because I know that it irritates you. But so Mako and Bolin meet their family, and their grandmother didn't hear that their father had died.
Which is weird. Why would you not keep in touch with your son?
I don't
He didn't
know.
leave on bad terms. He just left to go chase his dreams.
In a world where phones exist, I guess that they are dirt poor, though. Like they are,
But they've seen movers.
in extreme. Yeah,
So
that's true.
where do we draw the line at dirt poor?
I don't know. So on the one hand,
It seems like a convenience issue.
they have terrible fruit in their fruit stand, but then also they just have a whole bunch of food.
So much.
And Bolin's just eating like a king. So I don't know. I don't know what to believe because I think that they're just pretending they're poor. That's what I think.
There's a conspiracy, and it runs deeper than this family.
They're actually secret Dai Li plants that they were waiting for Zuko and Bolin.
I used to be so confused by that word, plants. Like people who play a plant in the audience for a magician show. I thought they actually meant like a potted plant.
Why did you think that?
I don't know. I'm like, why? How would this help you in any scenario? Is that person an actual potted plant?
I guess.
Does this conspiracy run deeper?
If the guy's gonna go, or the magician's gonna go pull a rose out from behind someone's ear, they could have a rose plant sitting next
An
to them.
actual rose plant.
And then they just snip one off as they're going, and then
Look what's behind your ear. What's taking so long? I left my clippers.
It's someone who they're sitting in their seat, and right behind them is a rose plant, and he's behind their head clipping the rose off, and then just okay. So from Zuko and Bolin's family, we find out that the queen, who had previously told Korra that there are no airbenders in Ba Sing Se, which I think is a callback to there is no war in Ba Sing Se.
Probably.
We find out that not only are there airbenders in Ba Sing Se,
But there is also a war in Ba Sing Se. A war on poverty.
no, they've been rounding up the airbenders to create an army
You're
for a war on poverty.
It all comes back.
They're going to kill the poor with airbenders, is what I'm saying. I mean, that's a good way to get rid of poverty, right?
Just kill them with
poor.
airbenders.
Well, I mean, you don't
Yes.
even need to use airbenders. Just kill the poor. I'm not advocating for any such thing, but it would technically erase poverty.
I'm advocating airbenders. That's what I'm advocating.
Is it?
I
think that's a
airbenders.
cause we can all get behind.
Let's. I'm pro airbender. Are you pro airbender?
Yes. Okay. So, does anything else happen in this episode? I think that's the final thing we find out is that the airbenders. Does Kai get arrested?
They play the creepy music. Kai walks down an alley, and then he gets arrested, or it's stolen by the Dai Li and thrown into a group of airbenders.
And then we find out that they're going to be in there for an army.
And that's the end of that episode.
Okay, so let's get into some trivia. This episode was first reported by IGN under an early name, Meet the Fockers. The hotel in which Kai stays looks similar to Team Avatar's home when they were in the capital, which is Ba Sing Se.
Which I thought about that too. Not making that up just to pander to the deviants. But I thought about that as well during the episode. I think it's just most of the buildings around like that
Looks similar
look similar.
because they're very basic.
It has nothing to do with that. This was the exact same building. No, those look similar.
I don't know exactly what this next piece of trivia means, but maybe we can figure it out. The shot of the people getting water at a central point looks similar to the place where Katara and Jet met in Lake Laogai.
I'm trying to
I
remember their meeting.
I have no clue about that one.
And who's getting water?
Oh no, it's not the episode titled Lake Laogai, not at Lake Laogai. And is this? I guess this is in the second season.
I have no idea, man.
I don't know.
Moving on.
Yeah, moving on. This is the first time Tone Rock has visited the Northern Water Tribe since his banishment.
Look at Tone Rock.
Because we forgot to mention that they do go to this prison in the Northern Water Tribe that they had made specifically.
Oh, we didn't mention how the prison was done, but I did mention the prison.
Yeah, no, I know. It was made specifically for this firebender who supposedly can firebend bombs out of her head
With her brain.
Yes.
Which there is a funny little bit that Zuko does. He goes,
Is it funny though?
It is, and I remember it being funny, and it was funny this time as well.
I don't think it holds up.
He says, ironically, I hired someone of the same caliber to murder the Avatar when I was a child.
Didn't work.
Didn't work, obviously.
Yeah, and then Eska
Yeah.
just says right in front of Tone Rock that she tried to kill his daughter when she stole her boyfriend or something
Which is
like that.
hilarious.
Is
because Tone Rock's face is like, "Oh, we're trusting this lady?"
I mean, it's his niece. They
Yeah,
know
but
it like-
his brother tried to murder him.
That's true. Yeah. So
by association.
Deska and Esna now are in charge of the Northern Water Tribe. First of all, how did that happen?
I have no idea.
Probably shouldn't have let that happen. They're insane. Moving on. Yin and her family, which is Zuko and Bolin's grandmother, live in the same building in which Mako and Iroh resided during the latter part of Book 2 Earth of Avatar The Last Airbender.
When they were living as refugees and they were not bothering anybody,
Yeah.
and the Katara had to ruin it all.
This was not deliberate, however. The crew simply found it easier to reuse existing designs, which they would still have to update them for the different resolution, right?
Maybe. But we also brought up that it is very much easier to use the same designs in animation, like the Robin Hood movie with the fox as Robin Hood and the Jungle Book. They use a lot of the same scenes and a lot of the same character designs because Disney just had them laying around. And why would you not use them? That makes sense. If you can fit it into your story, yes, use the same cells.
And so in this show, they only reused like the background. But in Disney, they completely just reused the animation and everything.
Oh, yeah. In Robin Hood, that scene where they were dancing around in the woods after they're like, oh, we're all winning and whatnot. And Jungle Book does the same thing. I don't think it was a victory dance, but
I
they're
think
still...
it's the bare necessity is the same. Like
maybe. But
beginning of that.
all those motions are the same exact characters, the same exact motions, everything. Same exact backgrounds and everything. Even the bears are the same bear.
Harley, which one came first, the chicken or the egg?
The egg, because it's an eggplant.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Let's take a quick break. Or maybe we won't. You want to just get into the next episode? No, we're just going to get into the next episode. Don't tell me what to do ever again. Okay, so this episode is called In Harm's Way.
In Arm's Way?
Harm's Way, I believe. Do you have that pulled up?
I have the Earth Queen pulled up because this Wi-Fi is trash and it's still loading. There we go.
Maybe you should have done that before I said that we were just going to move on to the next episode.
You're not necessarily wrong, but I'm not necessarily going to agree with you. Here we go. Lord Zuko, Chief Tone Rock, and Chiefs Desna and Eska face Gazan, Zahir, and Ming Hua in an attempt to stop them from freeing Pali, but fail to prevent her escape. Meanwhile, Mako and Bolin reveal to the rest of the team that the Earth Queen is capturing all the airbenders within her grasp. With Janora's help, Team Avatar discovers the location of the prison, despite Lin's warning to Korra that Zahir and his companions have escaped, imperiling her life. Korra refuses to leave Ba Sing Se without having freed the airbenders. Working together, Team Avatar stages a successful prison break and then... Wait, what? And they flee the Earth Kingdom capital. Tenzin, Janora, and the airbenders head toward the Northern Air Temple, while Team Avatar and Lin continue their quest through the Earth Kingdom to find more airbenders.
Is that all?
Yes.
Okay. So where were the Earthbenders or the Airbenders at again? Still don't know.
I don't know.
Okay, I thought that we might get an answer to that in the overview, but okay. So the first thing I have written down here, Harley, is how old is Zahir?
I don't know, because my question was because he looks pretty old, and so I was thinking maybe he was around when Aang was around, but turns out no, unless their reign was a lot longer, because that one lady,
Plee
says she hasn't been around since like 13 years.
Yeah, so that would have been when Korra was 4 or 5.
She's 18 now.
Yeah, she's 18, so she's 5 years old.
Yeah, so not prevalent at all. So there was no avatar to take on that person. So if they were reigning for like 5 years before
so it probably would have been around the time that Aang died.
That'd have been really cool. That would have made them amazing villains.
Yeah,
they've been around for 5 years.
But now there's an avatar.
And
I guess that they have airbending now. So they have all the bendings.
They are still a pretty dope team.
Because we did find out...
not all of them.
Huh?
Water bending, air bending, and lava bending.
He can earthbend.
Have we proven that he can earthbend?
Well, yeah. I mean, isn't that the whole thing?
I don't know.
I believe so. I don't know. Maybe. You have to be, right?
Like, what if once you discover a subbend, you can only subbend?
That would suck.
You can only bloodbend. It's like, I don't know what to do here, man. I'm murdering everybody. I don't know what to do.
So, like, what's the air bending is like sound bending? Isn't that one of the things?
I don't know.
What if you discovered that and all you could do is like make whistling noises, and now you can't go back to air bending because you're stuck at the subbending?
That'd be awful.
Yeah, that'd be terrible.
Anyways,
never experiment with air bending, folks. But yeah, we do find out that that Plee, which is the Sparky Boom woman, has firebending capabilities as well. It's not just that she can blow things up with her mind. She's a very good firebender, and that's why she can blow things up with her mind, which we didn't know in the previous series.
Really? That's what I did not pay attention to that.
That's what they said.
I was really into these episodes.
Said she was a very expert firebender, and we do see her actually firebend when she's fighting Zuko. She sort of disperses his flames.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, when she fights the dragon, the
dragon
breathes on her, and she's like, "I haven't felt this warmth in 13 years." Blah. And then she shoots the dragon and kills the dragon.
Do we know that the dragon's dead?
I don't know. I'll be upset.
I don't know.
I'll be really upset. That's the last artificial dragon they have.
But yeah, so they've got Plee, which is her name, and she's in like this crevasse. That's how I say crevice now. I'm trying to spice up my language.
Really?
Yeah, the crevasse that she's in.
Well, you know what they say.
No. Do you have something for me, or you just okay? So she's in this crevasse, and she's like in this cage that apparently is colder than everywhere else around it, because that's why she's not able to firebend apparently. But her guards can firebend just fine.
So this is where I come in to.
The episode?
Not necessarily debunk.
This is where
theory.
a Harley jumps down into the crevasse.
Here we go. No, so you say that the guy could firebend, and I saw the guy firebend.
Yeah.
I'm not taking that away from you. It happened. And she cannot firebend.
No.
At all. So that's how I say at all. I'm like trying to spice up my language.
An island. Atoll.
So she can't firebend. So she is inside of a metal cage.
Yes.
It's completely metal.
Yeah.
And also it's frozen. I don't know if you've ever touched metal while it's frozen. It's extremely cold. I think it's colder than being cold. I'm not sure.
Is it? Is it colder than ice?
I'm stretching here. It's ice cold.
I don't think that's how entropy works.
And also, she's wearing like no clothes. She just has a very thin.
She is naked.
She's naked. She's wearing a very thin, like tunic almost. And also,
can't she generate heat?
One more thing. Uno mas thingo. I think. How you say that? She also has her head restrained in chains. She has that headgear on.
Uh-huh.
So I don't think she can actually firebend with her hands and stuff.
That's what Zuko said.
I think she can only do it with her brain. With her mind's eye.
I saw her firebend.
This thing. I don't think she can do it any other way with this thing.
I don't know. That's what they said. They said she's an expert firebender.
So here's my theory there. So she's really cold, obviously. She's colder than the guard because the guard is wearing an Eskimo outfit, and he's not inside that cage. So I think he can firebend. She cannot. I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm just going off what they say.
But if you're going off of what they say, then if you're not going to look too far into it, then I think it's convenient when it needs to be convenient.
Oh, probably.
Which is what we've established before with many other things in this show, and it's frustrating.
Yeah, so they get into a big fight. These rogue elements. What are their names now? We got Zahir, Plee, Minghua, who is the weird water arm chick.
She's awesome. What are you talking about? Weird.
I mean, she's also definitely doing meth, right?
Oh yeah, she looks like we were trying to establish their name or their ages earlier with Zahir and that other guy. But
I don't. Yeah, what is
Zahir? Looks like he's in
Gazan.
Zahir looks like he's in his 50s. Okay, Minghua could be literally any age because she looks like a meth head. So she could be 20 for all we know. I've seen 20-year-old meth heads.
She's probably older than 20.
She's just 20.
That would mean that she was 7 when they got captured. They
just hide. That'd be so cool. That's a talent, though. Hey, you're now on the Red Lotus squad because you can literally bend water without having arms.
Is it?
So this goes, okay, all right, okay. So this goes into another subject. We have seen waterbenders and earthbenders and firebenders get tied up or bended up with other elements, and their hands are now blocked.
And then they can use their feet.
And then they can't bend at all. Like that episode of the Airbender, or Avatar: The Last Airbender, remember when that guy got his, in the path thing? Remember when the spiders come out of the wall and whatnot, and they were trying to go through the passage?
I'm not entirely
And the guy breaks his arms or whatever.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't bend anymore. So he's just a terrible bender then. Like he's not like base level bending. Was what I think we talked about.
Well, he's a tour guide. He's not like a
he's not a fighter.
No.
Like I think we established that when we first talked about that episode anyways. So she is an amazing bender, an accomplished master waterbender because she doesn't have arms and she can still bend water.
Yeah, that's cool.
As opposed to this other tool who broke his arms and can't bend.
Do you think it's sort of like a Toph thing where since she couldn't see, she developed abilities that wouldn't necessarily have presented themselves if she had all of her senses?
Maybe.
You think it's maybe she was born with no arms and just adapted that way?
Maybe she was. Or
it's like I'm going to make a reference that everyone will understand and love. Spy Kids 3D Game Over, when their grandfather, who's in a wheelchair, gets the leg boost because he's so much stronger in his upper body that he gets superpowers, basically.
Spy Kids 3, The Wrath of Their Grandpa named Khan.
Spy Kids 3D.
Spy Kids 3D, The Wrath of Khan.
That's a great movie. Moving on. Okay, so do we get like a climax to this fight? Or is it still ongoing? Do they end up getting away, don't they? Because they have like a bulldozer or something that they escape on.
Yeah, they do a thing, which I imagine the trivia will call back to. When they go to break her out, there's this storm, this blizzard.
Oh yeah,
and they're like, no, I don't see anybody except for that blizzard coming towards us. And the one guy goes, "That's no blizzard," which is reminiscent of that episode of
Star Wars.
Stop Wars.
That is not in the trivia.
Stop Wars, which is equivalent to the episode where they all have the gang. Like every character we've met so far in the Avatar series meets like Sokka and their father and whatnot to go on the battle. And there's the fog coming up, and they're like, "Oh, we don't have any battle yet, or any army yet, but we do have that mist." And she's like, "That's no mist. That is the army.
That's no moon." Yeah. So they end up getting away after a fight with Eska, Desna, Zuko, Dragon.
Eska, Desna, Dragon, Tonraq, and Zuko.
Yeah, Tonraq was the only guy.
Yeah,
left there. So the Cabal. What are we calling them?
Red Lotus.
I don't think that's been mentioned yet.
I don't think I care.
So what are we calling them?
Red Lotus.
We're not calling them that right now because that's not a thing yet. These Cabal of bad guys, they end up escaping, and so we get to see a little bit more of what was going on in the previous episode, with Kai being inscripted into this army.
I thought that said fist bending.
It doesn't. I don't know. Is that just boxing? Fist bending.
It's not where I went with that.
Oh,
Nope.
well, yeah, okay. Not that kind of show.
Click on combustion bending real quick.
We're not doing that right now. We're in the middle of a podcast.
Because it doesn't say she's a firebender, it says she's a combustion bender. So what does that
Well,
mean?
you're absolutely wrong.
No, get on the wiki. It's exactly what it says. Scroll down.
So the
You're being a tool right now. And
what it says on the wiki, what he's referring to is Plea was a powerful firebending criminal who possessed the rare ability to combustion bend. So it's not one or the other. It's firebending.
So it's like a subbending then. But
I think that's what we're deciding.
But it's
That's what it's saying. This is great podcasting. By
I'm
the
just
way.
confused as to whether or not she can actually firebend or not.
I don't know.
Plus combustion bending. So because if she could, then why could Sparky Boom Man not firebend?
Maybe he could.
If this is a subbending.
This is definitely a more effective way, though. Like just blowing things up.
Oh, for sure. And it's so cool. The sound effects, that boom, boom, boom.
And it doesn't take any like martial arts. She can just do it, I guess.
It's stressful though, isn't it? Like the way we've seen her, like he had to reload it.
Well, I mean, she looks to have more of a handle on it.
Which it has been. He's obviously dead, and she is, in the modern version of bending. So maybe she's perfected the ability, like we've been saying for a million other abilities.
Yes, but let's talk a little bit more about what Avatar Korra is doing.
Yes, let's. I mean, I don't know what you want to say to that at all.
I mean, what happens with the other side, the other half?
I don't know. What has Korra been doing?
So Kai has been taken.
Oh
to
yeah,
the airbending
they break out. Yeah.
Thank you. So Kai's been taken, and we get to see a little bit of the airbender training, which I thought was really cool because it's earthbenders training these airbenders. So a lot of the training involves earthbending techniques used with airbending,
which is how Iroh trained Zuko.
Kind of, not really.
Well, yeah, like he showed him techniques that he learned, but he didn't show him a lot because we see a lot of we see it in the end how Zuko uses waterbending techniques to firebend, but we don't see him getting trained.
So I think that this is pretty different from that because that was Iroh using what he knew about firebending and then observing the other bending styles to create new things to work with both. What I think this is earthbenders who don't know about airbending just teaching airbenders as if they were earthbenders.
Wouldn't that have the same outcome, though?
Well, no, because Iroh was purposely like crafting these moves to work with both. But these earthbenders don't know how airbending is supposed to work, so they are teaching them like an earthbender. Which isn't necessarily the same thing.
Doesn't necessarily seem effective either.
No,
because airbending
it seems to work though.
Airbending is defensive and not very, I guess that's the way of.
So I think that
nomads.
Earthbending's defensive, firebending's aggressive, airbending's evasive, and waterbending is
invasive.
No, not. I mean, maybe a little bit.
It's in your face.
Okay, let's just go with that. Aggressive, evasive, defensive, invasive, I guess. That's dumb.
I dig it.
But yeah, I just thought that was really cool because these earthbending teachers wouldn't know how to airbend at all because there are 4 airbenders in existence, technically.
5
before this. Who's the 5th?
I don't know.
Rohan?
Right. There's a 3 kid. Yeah, I guess. Okay, I don't know if he's an airbender yet or not, but I thought I heard somewhere in this one of the episodes of Korra they said 5 airbenders.
I'm trying to think about who the other one would be.
I think Mako said Korra.
Korra. Okay, I don't really count that.
That's fine. I get what you're saying. Where you're coming from though, because I think Mako said, "Sir, there are only 5 benders in the world, and you are not one of them." When he got that phone call from that guy, I remember that now.
Sir, I knew John F. Kennedy, and you, sir, know John F. Kennedy. You recognize that quote?
No.
It's from something. It might not be John F. Kennedy. I mean, that's just what it made me think of. Sue me. So Kai is getting taught in the this army style, which it seems just more cruel than like actually effective teaching because they just have Kai beat up on this guy who doesn't know how to airbend at all.
Yeah, like what? Which is another thing I don't understand. The whole idea of like lead them by fear and teach them through toughness. Like, yeah, strengthen their resolve, but teach them in a way that will actually benefit their abilities. Like, don't just throw them out into the trash, because they obviously have a technique that you can use. Like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say here.
So I think that one thing, like, because going back to how they're teaching them as if they were earthbenders, that kind of defeats the purpose of having an airbender army, because they're just going to act like earthbenders. Why not actually have someone who kind of knows about airbending, like even just like a scholar who's studied airbending?
Also, why do they have an airbending army? Why do they need an airbending army? They have the Dai Li.
Because it's different, I guess.
But
because no one else is anyone else going to have an airbending army?
no, but if you want to go off of the point that you just said, where you're going to be fighting like earthbenders, that reminded me of the scene where
I guess they could fly.
he shot that.
That's a pretty big thing.
He shot that one guy with air, and he dodged it. So, and you said maybe they can feel it in the air.
Well, they definitely can.
So,
that's why monks shave their heads.
yeah. So if they fought like earthbenders, though, nobody could see that coming, because they are the only airbenders in the world except for the 5 other airbenders.
Yeah.
So if they were if the Fire Nation was to attack, they'd be like, "Dude, I'm an airbender. I'll just murder."
Oh
you."
yeah. So technically, you're saying that they wouldn't be able to see the air,
Yeah.
which
Have we established that yet? Because we see it as an audience member,
because you have to.
because they draw it for us. But
That would be weird.
every time like Aang attacked somebody with air, you never saw them dodge it. They just got pummeled by it.
Yeah. Well, because how would you escape it?
I don't know. Are avatars the most powerful benders there are? Or God bless.
Yes, of course. That's the whole point.
Airbenders
Avatars, of course, are the most powerful benders there
are
are.
airbenders the
'Cause
most powerful benders?
They have all of the 4 elements, Harley.
What if? Okay, so I dig the idea of the Earth Queen taking these individuals and turn them into an army.
I earthbend the idea because it's kind of like digging.
Shut up.
It's like an alternative to digging.
No.
I mean, technically, yes, it is. You can't. I mean, that's factual.
Anyways, so I like the idea of it, because I had a point here and you ruined it with your lame joke.
It wasn't lame.
It was
okay,
so bad.
You take that back. You take that back right now.
I don't know what I was saying.
We haven't talked about the episode in 50 minutes.
Well, we have.
We've been doing this for 52 minutes. I only have 4 things written down here. You okay there?
No, I forgot what I was going to say.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not happy about it.
I mean, I'll give you 3 seconds.
3 seconds of what?
3 seconds to come up with whatever you're going to say. 2. 1.5.
I was what? How'd you get? Okay, I thought you started at 1. You said 1.5 after 2.
1.25.
Okay, so with them being trained by the Earthbenders to fight as Earthbenders, I think it would be a good army to have, and I dig the idea.
Is it just like a subversion thing that you think you're going to be fighting an Earthbender, but it turns out to be an Airbender?
Maybe that'd be really cool too.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can see that.
So, like, if you go to fight this person and you don't know how they're bending, what I was saying are airbenders the most powerful bending, and the most powerful benders because you can't see their bending. Unlike fire, earth, and water, you can see it coming, but you can't see air coming. So, the only reason why they're not portrayed as the most powerful is because they're all nomads and they're all monks and they're all peaceful. Is that why?
I also think that there's a difference between getting hit with a gust of wind and taking a fireball to the face. So I think it kind of evens out. Like, yeah, air can knock it down, but I mean, you're going to get your head burnt off.
Well, I think like with hydraulics and stuff like that.
If Aang's dad had held him down and aired him in the face, it wouldn't leave a scar on half his face. So,
well, it's another thing. If you with enough pressure, it's 7 pounds of pressure to cut a human ear off. So like,
I think that's pull a human ear off.
Okay, so if I just took air and I just did things with it that were
it's not going to be the same
with more violent tendencies, like the aggression of the Fire Nation or the defensive of the Earth Nation, I think it could be more powerful than all of the bendings.
Maybe you're like fighting on a cliff.
I think airbending is underused, and I want to push for more progressive airbending rights.
What? That doesn't even make sense. They're all dead.
Whoa!
Yeah, I went there. Okay, so
burn, literally.
No, because
Fire Nation killed them.
No, but the
burn.
No, but the air.
Firebending.
Oh, okay. So you're saying on the opposite end,
Burn.
how the Fire Nation is the one who was actually literally burning them.
Yeah, okay. You have me now?
Do you think that the Fire Nation burned the Airbenders?
Okay, yes. So, yeah, I do. Yes, I do. And also, with Avatar Aang's group dude, Gyatso, with his leader, remember how there was like 30 firebending dudes? Like, there were soldiers in that tent with one Gyatso?
Well, he was a master.
Maybe they were all masters too.
So he's like, so he's like Fire Lord level, I think. But
okay,
so one thing,
he's murdered those dudes.
Do you think that the Airbenders like actually fought back?
Yes.
Do you think so?
He killed those dudes.
He did, maybe. I don't know if
you think they just laid there and died and they're just hung out.
So they were under rubble, right?
Yes.
Maybe. Well, I don't know because
no,
I feel
not
like,
all of them.
Were they not? I feel like the Earth nomads were peaceful to a fault. I feel like they almost didn't fight back.
The air nomads?
Or the air nomads.
I was like, Earth nomads. That's a cool.
Yes,
concept.
the Earth nomads. They could just be actually on Earth and just like ride Earth around or something.
That'd be
like
so
that.
cool. But I don't know because I think everybody has their breaking point, right? And if your whole entire culture is at risk, I think you would fight back.
Maybe Gyatso would, just to save like the kids or something. But
and Gyatso did.
What if they were in? Okay, so they were in a room, right, or like a little like cave thing or something like that.
What are you talking
Gyatso?
about? There was a tent.
Was it a tent?
They opened up a tent. It was a huge tent. They opened up a tent, and there were dead.
Or was that just an entrance?
There were dead soldiers everywhere, and Gyatso at the end.
So
still dead, but
okay. But was that just the entrance that they opened up?
I don't know. Maybe
because what if 35? What if Gyatso didn't mean to kill them? He was just kind of holding them back with the airbending. But the firebenders used their fire, and it caught with the air, and then it depleted all the oxygen in the room.
they all just died immediately.
They all just they all just couldn't breathe and died of asphyxiation.
That'd be hilarious. He's like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry."
and could you manipulate fire with airbending? Like stoke it, send more oxygen to it, and like make it do what you want it to do?
That'd be cool because Avatar or Aang, before he learned earthbending, could manipulate Earth with airbending because with
a little bit.
Well, where he lifted up the
rock.
That rock. I think that'd be cool if you can control the airwaves around something. You could totally pick something up.
Yeah,
which he's proven that before when he took the who was it, Tenzin? One of the characters took a pencil from somebody with airbending. Like they were holding something and they took it from his hands. Like you can manipulate the thing, and Aang can manipulate those little balls in the air.
That's true.
Like I think with enough pressure on anything, you can manipulate anything. I think airbending is the strongest bending.
But I don't know because if I were an earthbender, I would just have like a machine gun of earth, just like little pebbles that I'm just shooting off at super high speeds. I don't know why you wouldn't do that. I feel like that's the most effective way of doing that.
Well, like air pressure, you can cut people with a certain amount of strength. Like certain,
yeah.
What am I trying to say here? There's a certain amount of pounds per pressure.
It's pounds per square inch.
Yeah, pounds per square inch of air that you can cut. You can cut somebody's hand off.
Yeah,
you can cut through skin. You can cut off bones. Like that kind of stuff really hurts.
Yeah,
man. So
getting your arm cut off.
Getting your arm cut off is not
kind of
cool.
hurts.
It's not cool, man. So I think it's just underused. I don't think they're using it to its full potential. And also, we haven't had up until Zahir an airbending bad guy.
Yeah,
I would love to see Zahir take this to. It's probably not going to happen because we're already 4 episodes deep, and he hasn't really done anything with it except for shoot some dudes with mare.
But he's also only had it for like a week, maybe.
Yeah,
or a couple weeks.
But I would love to see a villain like Zahir take his ability to the max, like the guy who can earthbend, who can also lava bend. I feel like he's
Pepsi Max.
I feel like he has delved into all different categories.
Is Mountain
of
Dew
earthbending.
take it to the max?
I don't know.
Is there a slogan? Take it to the max.
I think you're just making stuff up right now.
I would never do that. Okay, so they get the airbenders out of the prison or whatever, right? I don't even.
Yeah, I don't know what prison we're at, but still, yeah.
They go to Lake Laogai and Janora's doing some stuff where she's a spirit.
Yeah, they casually. Oh my god, they casually establish how Janora did that whole ex machina thing in the season finale, where she just showed up out of nowhere as a spirit. And in this, they didn't like, oh, hey, you can do that? In that episode, they're like, oh, remember 4 episodes ago? Yeah, that's how you did this. Cool, moving on. Like, I don't know how I feel about that. Because they don't do that all the time. They just did it right there.
Yeah, it's fine. I guess. I don't like anything about it. I wish Janora wasn't in it right now, but that's just me. But yeah, she's looking around. You got to use your connection with Kai to use a bond and like get out of your body and go find him, Janora. And then she does. And then they release all the airbenders with no repercussions. Because they don't even fight the Dai Li, do they?
No.
Or do they show up at the Earth Queen?
Okay, so at the end, they break out of the prison, and the Dai Li are like, "Stop! You're breaking the law." And they're like, "No, we're not. We're airbenders."
Great impression, by the way, of the Dai Li.
And so now all of us
we're breaking the law. What? Who talks like that? You're such an idiot.
You want to take it from here, Caleb? You want to take it from here?
I don't remember how it ends,
That's
so you
good.
gotta keep going.
Anyways,
Just knock it off with the stupid impressions.
So they break out, and they're like, "Nah, we have been now. We gotta have been."
Nobody can understand what you're saying. This is audio only. There's no subtitles, Harley.
Can we put in subtitles later?
How?
Just script the whole thing,
How are we
type it
gonna
all up,
put
and
in-
they can follow it along on the.
This has to go up tonight. We're literally like 2 hours away from me having to put this online.
That's great.
We can't transcript this whole podcast.
All right. So, anyways, they show up and they're
So
like,
anyways, we just did the rest of the podcast like that.
so immediately these airbenders that they've been training for like 2 days are now
Fully fledged
masters.
They've already got their tattoos and everything for
And
some reason.
they just knock down these Dai Li agents, and Avatar Korra is there as well. I guess she might help, but she wasn't the first one to make the move. The airbenders were, and they're like, no, blah blah blah, and they attack the Dai Li people, and then they go about their way, and the Earth Queen gets some oogie hair on her, and she sneezes, and that's the end.
Oh yeah, because she's deathly allergic. She is so allergic to animals. But that is the end of the episode.
We didn't wrap up the Mako and Bolin story though.
But that was the last episode, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, Mako gives their grandma his scarf, which is his dad's,
dumb.
and then they take some food and they leave. That's the end of it.
Why don't they save their grandmother from abject poverty?
They totally could.
Bolin has a bunch of money for movers. Asami's loaded. They could just take everybody out.
They could just make Asami move in with these guys. So we can get two birds, one stone. We get rid of Asami.
Get rid of Asami.
And they have financial well-being.
Yeah,
I dig it.
Yeah, they could totally do that. But is that all? No. I mean, it's got to be.
Oh, there was one part of the episode when they were breaking out Pli that I wanted to talk about. And for
Okay.
2 seconds, I just want to mention it. It's not going to be subject to his name. Okay, so Minghua does a really cool thing with her bending where she turns herself literally into a drill and she drills through the
ice. Which, couldn't you just melt the ice?
You could, but do you want to be dramatic?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. I mean, I get it now. So is that all? Do you have any other thoughts?
No, that's it. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Let's do a little bit of trivia.
Trivia!
Thank you. A scene in which Asami and Lin sneak into Ba Sing Se airship, and a flashback scene depicting the group of criminals' first kidnapping attempt of Korra were cut from the final storyboard.
I'm so confused by everything you just said.
So they cut out a scene. There was a deleted scene.
Okay.
Thanks for that input there. The scene in which Minghua opens Pli's cell door was inspired by an episode of MacGyver, in which the titular character is trapped inside a meat locker and escapes by trickling melted ice water into the door lock as means of breaking it once the water refroze. I guess that would work. I mean, theoretically it's sound, right?
Don't they do that kind of thing in Ant-Man?
Yeah, kind of like that. So Ant-Man ripped off MacGyver is what you're saying.
No, Ant-Man ripped off Korra, which ripped off MacGyver.
Oh, you think that
Disney
this is a
are secretly
secondary-
fans of Nickelodeon.
This is a secondary thing
Yeah.
that they didn't know about the MacGyver.
Disney hates MacGyver but loves Korra.
Yes. You ever watch MacGyver?
No.
10 out of 10 would watch. I recommend it highly.
Have you watched the new MacGyver?
I have not,
0
and
out
I
of 10 would not watch.
shan not.
The guy who played Banshee in X-Men First Class,
Yeah.
he's MacGyver,
I
and it's
recognize
really
that.
dumb.
Is he like 20? Like, he's not that old.
I think he's in his late 20s.
Yeah, see,
He's
MacGyver.
older than
MacGyver to me is at least 35. Okay. I mean, I'm sorry I have to take such a hard stance, but my MacGyver is 35 years old at minimum.
X-Men's Banshee, hashtag not my MacGyver.
No, thank you. And our final piece of trivia. This episode was leaked on June 8th, 2014 by the Mexican government.
I actually vaguely remember that. I remember they had like a secret society in the government called Mundo Nick, and they were the ones who released it.
I actually vaguely remember living in Mexico at the time. That was a dark period in my life. But I did get to watch Korra a little early.
I'm jealous, man.
Yeah.
But now we have it on Blu-ray, so we can watch it whenever we want
The
to.
height of luxury.
Take that, Mexico.
Yeah, and just that. That's all that the United States has on Mexico. Okay, let's wrap this up, Harley. I think that we've gone on for quite a long time. Just quite a long time.
It's quite a long time.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, we should be done.
Yeah. Guys, thank you so much for listening.
If you did.
Okay. And I assume you're listening to this. If you would like to contact us via email, we are boysintheiceberg@gmail.com. And if you want to check us out on Twitter, that's Boys in the Berg. Or rather, at Boys in the Berg is what I should have said. As always, I'm Caleb Bader.
And I'm Harley Davis.
We are the Boys in the Iceberg. And we'll see you here next week.